Good evening, and welcome to NAIT NewsWatch Extra, the show where we show you some stories that required a little more time to do them right.
From Festival of Lights to solar power, we have a very interesting and diverse show for you tonight as we dig a little deeper into subjects and people who have stories to tell.
It's been an interesting semester of bringing NAIT NewsWatch to you. Tonight and next week, we go beyond breaking stories and share with you something more in depth. We begin tonight with something that many of you serve up on your dinner table.
Inflation is going up once again in Alberta and across Canada, increasing the cost of many items.
Beef is one item that has seen the price increase dramatically, but beef producers are seeing extremely low cattle market prices. The reason for the high prices in supermarkets was actually completely separate from what beef producers were getting when they sold their cows. This high price was set due to labor disputes between workers and the companies that cut and wrap for the supermarkets, causing a high price for beef as it wasn't being made for consumption.
If you were to ask any farmer in Western Canada how their summer was, they will definitely talk about one thing.
There's a real big-time drought across Western Canada and the Western United States over this summer.
Droughts affect all types of farmers, but for those who raise cattle, it results in a very low amount of feed. This causes feed prices to rise dramatically due to a very high demand.
Also bought straw this year from crop farmers so that we could feed the cows that way and supplement their feed a little differently, because last year we made about 1,200 bales of hay and this year we only made 150, so we had to replace that feed with bought-in feed.
Producers like Kirk Wildman had to sell a large part of their herd to auction marts in order to have enough feed. This caused a flooding of the market, causing beef prices to be as low as $2.65 per pound on the rail for a good market animal.
So as you heard, farmers are in a real conundrum. They can't get enough money to sell their cows, but there isn't enough feed right now to go around to feed said cows, and it's so expensive to feed them as well. So what is a farmer supposed to do to try and get ahead in these tough times? Well, one producer has found a different way in order to make money during these rough times in this industry.
Bob Hahn also has struggled this past summer and has had to find some different ways to feed his cows.
We had basically one cut of hay. Even that cut of hay was not at all near what we're used to. So we were about 50% of what we normally get on our crops. And to buy hay, we would have to pay at least about $140, $150 for a 1,400 pound bale of hay to get it in.
Despite this, Hahn is currently doing quite well. Instead of selling his cows to the feedlot and processing companies, he finishes his own cows and has them custom cut and wrapped, and then sells the meat through his farm store.
And I can truly double my money from what I get in the auction mart. So let's say I get $1,800 in the auction mart, I can double my money, $3,600, as long as I can get the customers here to buy the meat. And that's over and above, the cutting and wrapping is over and above that. So I can double my money. But I've got to finish those animals here on the farm.
Hahn's other keys to success include his connections to people he accounts for, as well as his dry ager, that provides very high quality meat. For other producers, things are looking up, as one of the premier packers in Alberta, Cargill, has accepted a new workers' contract that will get their facilities back up and running, and they will start buying cattle once again. This also may drive down the price of beef in supermarkets. For NAIT NewsWatch Extra, I'm Thomas Wildman.
You're watching NAIT NewsWatch.
Solar energy has been a mainstay in Alberta for decades, but this past summer, Amazon invested in a solar farm in southern Alberta. This farm is set to generate renewable power for 150,000 homes, but will also generate work for lots of Albertans.
But what is the job market really looking like for people looking to get into the solar power? Our Brandon Demeray with that story.
Thanks, guys. With recent investment into solar technology in Alberta, I take a look at some of the occupational opportunities we're starting to see in the solar sector.
Demands for electricity in Alberta are ever growing. Summer 2021 was one of the hottest on record, and the fossil fuel and coal sectors are becoming more unstable every year. But one energy sector is seeing more growth than ever: solar electricity.
If you're just looking at solar or you're looking at green energy as a whole, solar, you're going to have more opportunity for laborers because you do not need to be a registered electrician to build any of the stanchions that the solar panels get put on.
When it comes to electricity, the common idea is that the work is strictly for electricians. But the reality is that more and more trades are seeing work in solar electricity than ever before. For example, here in our own city, the Edmonton Convention Center. It has no standard roof, unlike most buildings in Edmonton, but instead boasts the largest solar panel array in Canada. Those, of course, with the help of electrical professionals, were installed by glazers.
In construction, it's construction's construction. When we're talking, the roads have to be, you have to make access roads to projects, level land and whatnot for solar farms, screw piles, which are used all over the place.
The solar market is becoming a viable source of income for more than just electricians. With increase in investment and new technology, we are seeing new job opportunity in all sectors of construction, but also in agriculture.
There's also other cool innovations happening around agrivoltaics, and that's going to be really neat in Alberta, where you get the combination of solar and farming together. We're seeing some of that in Innisfail. There's a solar and sheep farm, and you're literally, farming sheep and solar at the same time.
Living in Alberta, we rely heavily on energy to run our economy. But we're also lucky because we live in the Sun Belt of Canada. Both Alberta and Saskatchewan lead the nation in sunny days and average sunlight per day.
For NAIT NewsWatch Extra, I'm Brandon Demeray.
If you're looking to get into the next generation of gaming, then prepare to enter the world of virtual reality, or VR.
The gaming experience with VR is far more immersive and interactive than your typical sit-down gaming session. I had the opportunity to explore the intricacies of VR gaming, as well as a cheap option for getting into it. Unlike traditional games that you play while sitting 6 feet from your TV, VR involves putting on a special headset that gives you 360-degree views of your virtual world that you can interact with through 2 handheld devices. When Taylor James first got his hands on VR hardware, he saw a whole new world of gaming open up to him.
Honestly, I've been enjoying playing Superhot a lot. It's a cool concept of a game where time only moves as you're moving. When you stand still, nothing else in the world around you moves. But I think a lot of VR games are fun because it's virtual reality. It's a new world that you can experience, and it's an interesting technology.
The price of a VR kit with a headset and handheld controllers can range from around $400 to just upwards of $2,000, but computers that can support VR can be even more expensive. The people at Memory Express know all too well about the struggles that come with building computers and getting parts that support this hardware.
Typically, to have a smooth and successful VR experience, typically the 2 most important ones would tend to be your CPU as well as your graphics card. Typically, processors, you're looking at about like $500 to upwards of about $800. In terms of a graphics card, we're looking at, I would say, about $850 to all the way up to $2,400 if you really want the best.
These gold bricks with microchips can often be the deterrent for new players wanting to try out virtual reality. But what if they knew of a cheaper alternative for the exact same experience? That's where places like Control V come into play.
Pick up your controllers and tighten your wrist straps. Find your friends. Select a game.
For just $25, you can get an hour of playtime inside one of their VR stations.
For Control V, our main focus is trying to have multiplayer experiences so that we can get as many people from your group playing together, whether that's shooting zombies or shooting each other, or even making some food with friends, or even playing some sports.
To encourage this, they offer deals for those who book 4, 8, 10, or all 17 of their VR stations, making them a great option for birthday, group, or even mobile events where they will come to your event and set up their gear for you to enjoy. You can also go to places like the Elite VR Cafe, Game OVR, and the Rec Room to enjoy experiences similar to those at Control V. I'm Mark Madron with NAIT NewsWatch Extra.
Coming up after the break, we will take a look at some Edmontonians who get around without a car.
And we look at a new twist on chicken and waffles coming soon to an Edmonton restaurant.
Apparel for Newswatch provided by TLA Development.
It's hard to imagine a world without cars. After all, in 2019, there were as many cars in Canada as there were people, around 35 million.
That's right, Marco. However, our Stephanie Swensrud found that some Edmontonians go without a car and walk a roll for their daily errands.
Believe it or not, there are some people in Edmonton that get around without a car. Now, 80% of commuters in Canada do get to work in a car, so it makes sense that our infrastructure is designed around cars. But for those people that cannot or choose not to drive, well, they can end up feeling left behind, especially in winter.
Giselle General left the house today prepared.
These boots here have retractable spikes.
General doesn't drive, and she feels lucky to live in a walkable neighborhood.
We have a business plaza right here, which takes 2 minutes to do a lot of the basic services that we need, like a massage, a chocolate bar if you want one from the convenience store, or even, and we have a butcher here as well. And if you want good takeout, we have a restaurant here also.
Especially during warmer weather, General doesn't mind walking.
On a good day, I walk to West Edmonton Mall, 45 minutes. It's a really nice walk because it's along sidewalks that are along a major road.
A walkable neighborhood, like Oliver in Edmonton, typically has short blocks, straight roads, good transit, and a mix of commercial and residential zoning. It can improve mental and physical health, and it's better for the environment. But not everyone has full access to a walkable neighborhood's potential. Marla Smith, a bilateral amputee in an electric wheelchair, says the snow often cuts off her mobility.
In the wintertime, there's a number of days that we could not get to that bus stop. You can't see it because it's buried. Right here is a curb cut. This is where I would normally cross the street.
And even in warmer months, design issues make it more inconvenient or even dangerous to get around.
Okay, can I come?
Like these diagonal curb cuts.
To make the curb cut, I'm actually having to go right out to here. It's terrifying. When it's busy here, it's absolutely terrifying. Wait.
The city used to clear sidewalks down to bare pavement, but now the standard is a safe and passable surface within 5 days of snowfall.
If it softens anymore, we can't get through.
This lower standard of snow clearing could be deadly to someone like Smith.
I've gotten stuck and I've had to wait, like make the phone call and have somebody come. I mean, when it's minus 30 or minus 40, if you have to go pick up your prescription or get that jug of milk or take the dog out for a pee and you get stuck, it doesn't take long in that kind of temperature for things to become detrimental.
This is why Smith runs a Twitter account that points out these accessibility issues, to show off the reasons she can't fully enjoy her walkable neighborhood of Ritchie. Her followers agree that Ritchie should be accessible and walkable or rollable to everyone.
To be honest, sometimes it's absolutely terrifying to go anywhere alone.
Stephanie Swensrud, NAIT NewsWatch Extra.
The pandemic struck the Edmonton food industry hard, with many restaurants having closed their doors due to restrictions. Hope is hard to come by, but one Edmonton chef duo has bounced back.
Coming in hot with a twist on fried chicken and waffles, Waffle Bird is bringing the heat. Our Blake Fisher has more.
Thanks, guys. I covered Waffle Bird in early October. They were hopeful then that they would get their permits approved by the city by early November and open shortly after. Unfortunately, there were some delays and that wasn't the case. But as you can see, they did get their signs up, and they are currently closed for installation of their exhaust and venting equipment, which means they should open soon, and you should see a Waffle Bird debut within the next month.
Meet the Nashville Hot Dollar, a marriage of sweet, buttery waffle, spicy sauce, and crispy fried chicken. The road to creating it all began with the closure of its architect's business, the Preserve food truck.
Our focus was taking craft preserves, jams, pickles, chutneys, etc., and doing sandwiches, salads, trying to feature sort of locally made preserves.
Due to COVID, Como had to shut down his food truck and afterwards started making and delivering home-cooked meals just to get by.
Doing like big lasagnas and like family style things and dropping them off for people because I didn't know what was going to happen.
John took a job as cook at an assisted living home and as a caterer at the Jasper Place Curling Club. It was after a shift at the curling club that he was struck with an idea.
I remember I was on Grote Road when it kind of like came together. I was crossing the bridge and I just sort of like was like, yeah, that'll work. And then I went home and I told my partner Amy about it, and she said, "That's the stupidest idea I've ever heard." And then I gave her one a month later. She said, "These are amazing. I'm completely wrong." So
This was the Wonut, and John began selling his newborn delight at farmers markets around the city. The unique treat began to gain popularity. It was after this that John's close friend and future business partner proposed an idea.
one day he messaged me and was like, "Oh, we should do a chicken and waffles like feature with the Wonuts." And we did it. It worked really well. So
It might not look like much, but it was here that the pop-up chicken and waffle was sold. Its popularity bolstered by a local radio station's blog post.
Ty Jordan from Virgin picked up on it and wrote a little blog article about it. The big selling point for him in that article was that, you walk up, you have to know it's there, you have to call ahead. You basically only find it on their Instagram page, which nobody knows about. They've got like 200 followers. And there's something, I don't know, appealing about that, I guess.
It was so appealing, and the pop-up went so well that the duo decided they had stumbled onto something incredible. For a year, the pair started working on developing the perfect sauce, fried chicken, and waffle combo. And when they finished, they had the Nashville Hot Dollar.
The waffles really complement the chicken really well. It's kind of this savory, buttery sort of balance to the fried chicken. I know it's funny because it's fried, but that's, I guess, where you add a few pickles and the Nashville hot sauce, and it really balances it.
But balancing the flavor isn't the only thing that goes into making a great restaurant.
I find a lot of new restaurants that start and have a really strong presence online before they open can be really effective. So they're already building up their following, they're already connecting with food lovers in the community, and they're posting really good photos of their food, right?
And even with a strong social media presence, COVID won't make it easy.
The pandemic's been tough for all small business owners, especially restaurants. I think restaurants already have such a small margin to work off of, and when you take that away and you take dine-in away, or you take income from your customers away because they might not be working, or they might be laid off, or they might be affected by the pandemic, that it makes it really tough.
The friendship and humor the Waffle Bird duo share makes them confident they'll succeed.
We just got along really well right away. There was a really good camaraderie. And then when I switched to work at the backup house, it's just insane. Like, we'd just sing dumb songs, like little parts of rap songs, and just like make stupid jokes literally the entire shift. It was so much fun. There's no one I'd rather go into business with.
They're waiting for permits and hope to open early November. With NAIT NewsWatch Extra, I'm Blake Fisher.
Well, Thomas, we're officially heading into Christmas time.
That's right, Marco. And to get us excited, our Rue Baker has a few events he'd like to share to kick off the Christmas season. How about it, Rue?
Thanks, guys. You might want to bring a sweater out because I'm going to take you on a tour of some winter activities and what they mean for the community. And it might get a little bit chilly.
Yes, I am enjoying that.
Strathcona County's Celebration of Lights is a family event, but its primary function isn't just so kids can meet the Grinch.
Turn around.
Cook up some s'mores. And watch the lights around town all turn on at once. The event raised hundreds of dollars and 12 milk crates worth of food for the Strathcona County Food Bank.
Every donation is very helpful to the food bank. We are very generous with our hampers when we make them, and the intake is becoming higher. So there is quite a rush on the food selections that we have at the food bank right now, and this will help fill our shelves.
In-person donations can be made to the Strathcona County Food Bank from 9 a.m. to noon Monday to Friday. E-transfer donations can be made to their email. The event featured pony riding, meeting reindeer, selfies with Santa, and so much more.
You have two. No, you might might need some extra energy.
It's been tradition that the lights connected to the street lamps around town and the LED tree, lights, and music located at Festival Place this year are enjoyed as an in-person community event. Due to COVID last year, the in-person was postponed, which is why event staff are glad to be back.
It was very successful. It was bigger than we expected, and we probably had about 4,000 to 5,000 people show up throughout the evening. COVID has played a part in not having so many events, but it was the first one back, so everyone was excited to be here.
And if you're disappointed you missed this event, have no fear because you can always catch this one. Here, at the Edmonton Convention Center, or it would be if it wasn't moved due to COVID restrictions. Now it's being held here. I'm talking about none other than the Festival of Trees, which will be available online for the second year in a row.
Our goals with Festival of Trees is one of our opportunities for fundraising, but also for friend raising. It's a time when normally in a pre-COVID world we would have up to 35,000 visitors at the Edmonton Convention Center. The Festival of Trees has been running for 36 years and counting, and has supported every corner of care at the University of Alberta Hospital and the sites that we support. We have a variety of outdoor and online experiences this year.
And even though most of the activities closed in early December, the Festival in a Box and Gifts of Gratitude are still open. You can check out their website for more details.
Very fun!
Very fun.
For NAIT NewsWatch Extra, I'm Rue Baker.
Thanks for watching NAIT NewsWatch Extra. Make sure to tune in next week for an extra show from the other half of our class.
Also be sure to check us out on our website, naitnewswatch.ca, and on Twitter, @NAIT NewsWatch. I'm Mark Madron.
And I'm Thomas Wildman. Good night.